Hello and welcome back to Stranded Deep, welcome back to update 0.72, and welcome back to new, bigger worlds. Yeah, if you're used to playing on the 5x5 grid of 25 islands that has existed since after 0.4H, well, you might be in for a surprise because the grid is gone. The number of islands have, well, doubled. You can now get up to 50 island spaces or 50 island tiles, some of which taken up by boss monster tiles, so at least 3 of those, and one of which is taken up by the end game tile. However, we should jump into the Cartographer to get a better view of what's going on. So here we are in the Cartographer, and if you're used to seeing the 5x5 grid, well, that's gone. As we zoom out using the mouse wheel, we can now see the 50 islands, they're roughly positioned in a square. This is more like a mid-Pacific archipelago. We can see this symbol here, the question mark. It's kind of obvious that that is the end game tile. And then we have the traditional, well, boss monster tiles, which I'm going to be honest, I'm the sort of person who would never go in there. It's just too creepums. But yes, the grid is gone. The islands are here, and yeah, if you want to drag an island out, a custom island, if we zoom in, you can absolutely do that. So you can just let go, hit apply, and your custom island will be in the world. But you can't change its position. You can't just say, oh, I'll have one here. For example, you have to put it on an island that already exists. So we're not going to apply that. We're going to go back into the game. And here we are back in the game. So there are some things to make note of. Apart from the fact the islands are further apart and the distances between them mean that there is a greater risk of meeting the larger predators that live between islands. Things like the great whites, things like the goblin sharks, sailfish, even the friendly ones, whale sharks and whale beasties themselves. There are some other things to make note of. So if you had a save game going since before 0.72, well, it's probably about time to start a new save because, well, there are some caveats to make note of. I'm looking around and the shadows are, well, they're pretty good. In fact, they're very good. I actually had a 0.71 save and it rolled over to 0.72, the bigger worlds update, and all the shadows were glitching out like nobody's business, and that was only remedied when I started a new game, so that's what we have here. The other thing is, we chose a female character. And, well, she keeps changing. Even though it says female in the save game file, you might find that you mysteriously changed a dude overnight or when you load a game up. So there have been some bug fixes, one of which says significantly reduced time to verify save files, and I think what it might do is significantly reduce the time that it uses to check for your gender. Don't worry, I wouldn't restart a save game or anything because that's something that's going to have to be fixed in post. Also, another thing to make note of, if we get our refined axe, this one confused me straight off the bat. So they have changed the time that it takes to drop an item. So if we tap Q, I'm tapping Q, nothing's happening. We got to hold it. Hold Q to drop an item. I had to rebind a key and I was just like, this is not working. So I checked the forums and yes, indeed, you have to hold Q to drop something. That was super confusing. After playing since, I think, 0.12, why they changed that, I don't know. I'd rather accidentally drop something in the middle of the ocean. Speaking of which, if you did have a save game since before 0.72, and you're saying to yourself, you know what, I can live with the shadows, I'm just going to carry on, you might find all your physics objects are missing because the island has been moved. So your saved island with your items, you might find a lot of the non-physics items like the smoker or any other items we got here. Oh, the looms and things, they may exist on your island, but the shelter might be missing. It was for me, and the raft was definitely missing. That was out in the middle of freaking nowhere. And all the physics objects, well, I can only assume the ones that didn't float were on the bottom of the sea. So that was fun. There is a new world barrier visual. Ooh, we're going to have to check that out. There are some, well, other things. Aircraft parts have been changed to be craftable rather than having to fight a boss monster to get them. And, well, the short delay, yeah, let's do a little flight. Let's do a flight. I'm just kind of looking over at things. The gender swaps when you sleep. physics objects such as wrath missing, shadows glitching. Yeah, I think we've covered most of things. Oh yeah, the foliage. There is a foliage bug currently in the game. So if you're not on experimental version 0.72, and I know a lad mentioned this, he was playing on PS4, and he said, oh, my trees, they're all pixely and I can see through them. That's a level of detail bug. That means when you come up to the island, stuff that's far away tends to be kind of pixely and low poly, low res, but as you get closer to it, it should turn into its close-up model. Sometimes that gets stuck, sometimes that doesn't work, and I know that's a bug on the PS4 version, certainly, and it's been a bug in the PC version for a while. That should be fixed in 0.72. When that goes live, when that changes to a main game, I'm not entirely sure, but that's again going to mean everyone playing on the live game is going to have to really just start a new game when this patch rolls out. So keep that in mind. They fixed the crab ambient sound effects. They fixed the watch vital icons, which is cool. Continuing to flash after dismissing the initial warning. I mean, yeah, excellent. I like the ability to skin the watch. I think that was something they talked about, having like skins that you could put into the Steam Workshop. But well, we'll see. And fix roofs not showing construction meter. And then that's about everything. So let's switch to God mode a moment. So, dev tools. Let me. God. What? You could do that? I mean, you've always been able to do that. And we have a little look from above. There's our island. And as we look around, yeah, it's different. It's very different. Everything not actually being on a grid is a little bit spookums. So if we go this way for a while. Alright, so as we pass one of the last islands on the edge of the map, hopefully we can run into the barrier. Now there's a bit of a problem with this barrier. Sometimes you hit it, sometimes you don't. Let's see if we do. Nope, we have gone way too far. So yeah, that's a slight issue with the barrier. There's holes in it. And here we go. Oh, got a glitch left and right and see if we can get back inside. Come on, I want to get back in. Come on. There we go. So yeah, there are holes in the barrier. Here it is. There we go. Bonk. So be aware that there is a new barrier effect on the very edge of the map. So the very outer edge of the map has this weird glass wall, which you can't go through. It's a physical block. However, there are gaps in it. And if you happen to be just sailing away, I'm sailing away. You can go between the gaps and then get stuck on the other side, like we just did as I was trying to find the thing. So if we just glide across it, eventually you'll just disappear off the other side, and it is a two-way barrier. Unfortunately, the effect only is on one side. So the glass effect only exists on one side. So if you happen to be on the other side of the barrier, you can't see on the way in, and then well. It's a little bit tricksy to work out how to get back into the game world. I would advise saving before leaving an island, and if you do get stuck beyond the wall, well, reload a save. I wouldn't even worry too much about it. It does mean that there is no line of yellow buoy balls, which means you can't just sail off into the open ocean ad infinitum. That did have other effects to it, so you would end up in the open ocean, and then you would see lots of things like whale beasties and great whites and sailfish. That's just what happens between islands. So we're kind of in the deep water now. We're sort of levitating above the waves. I believe that's going to be the music for a shark being in the area. What have we got? Something? It's kind of hard to see. I'm going to stick my face in the water and have a little look. But there's something that's latched onto us. Oh, there he is. What are you? What are you? What are you? Oh, there you are, Goblin Shark. How terrifying. He's just like, ooh, oh. Yep, Goblin Shark. So he does a little spawny spawn in the middle of the ocean. So get used to that, because with the greater distances between islands, big bads are going to spawn. Okay, and as we find ourselves back on the main island again, yep, we are still, in fact, a lady. This is crazy. When I was testing this earlier, it kept changing me to a dude, and I was just like, this is not right. So I suspect what happens is if the save game skips over the line where it says make this character a lady. It just defaults to being a dude. All right. Yes, there is a new end game tile. So if you want the sort of person to go into the Steam Workshop and go and grab that and put it into your game, that thing now exists in 0.72. There is a way out of Stranded Deep. The end game is now in. I think it's kind of in this direction for us. If you don't want to see the end game tile, well, stop watching now. Give the video a thumbs up and a like and a subscribe and all that sort of stuff. And I'll catch you next time. But for everyone else, well, yeah, so for everyone else, we just slap that and go. So it should be around here somewhere. Not entirely sure. Oh, there it is. As I say, not entirely sure what it says. This is an interesting tile. Something that spawned down there. No. But you see the distances between the islands. Normally there would be sort of one here. The reason it's kind of stuttering a little bit is because we're moving extraordinarily fast for the game, so it's going to have to start loading in assets and stuff. So if we kind of push through that, the developers did note that shadows do still flicker on very far islands, and what we're seeing at the moment is because we've just zooped up to this thing. It is the low poly model, so we're going to have to wait a minute for it to actually all render in. If you come here on your... Whoa, hey, dude. Actually, can you even attack... Ooh, as I say, can you even attack us? We're in guard mode, but... Yes. Yes, he can. Did he do any damage? No. Still did the... So yeah, this thing is part of the end game. This is what you would find, and it is visible from miles and miles away. In fact, visible from very close to our... Where did the music go? Music usually foretells of a shark in the area, and there is a shark in the area. That fortunately is a tiger, so that's not too bad. Yeah, so this thing is going to render in eventually. It's going to render in eventually? I mean, nope, still hasn't rendered in. We're going to have to give that a minute to sort itself out. So a minute later and everything's loaded in, and we find ourselves looking at the end game. It is a Japanese aircraft carrier. It has all the hallmarks of, well, an aircraft carrier, except there's a few weird things if you kind of notice them. Apart from the shadows doing a little bit of a glitchy glitch, because that's exactly what shadows do at the moment. Yeah, we have an island, we have a flight deck, we have a hole in the flight deck, which is kind of like... Well, that's not the worst thing this ship's had. I mean, the butt's been completely blown off, and it's run aground on the island. It's completely torn this thing up. There are rocks and things underneath it. It's like it took a regular island. I mean, there are even like chevrons in the sand where this thing has really done a number on everything. However, once you're at the top deck, you will find some weirdness. So if we come out of God mode. I mean, speaking from a historical point of view, the island, yep. The flight deck, yep. The catapult made of string, I mean, probably not. Are we still a lady? Oh yeah, we are. We're crouching, that's why. But we also have a hangar on the flight deck, which is kind of interesting, because how do you land an aircraft if there's a hangar in the way? The only thing I can think of is the reason they put this here is to keep you out of the sun. I would probably remove this entire hangar section and replace it with maybe some sort of canvas, because it just looks weird. Yeah, it looks weird. Also, well, the turntable, this is kind of from a different boat, oh chums. So you have a Japanese float plane, which would have been used as an observer plane either from inland waterways, shallow seas, or battleships. You would have launched it from a steam catapult on a battleship, and you'd have flown it around, and it would have been good. It's not the PBY Catalina that I was kind of hoping for, but you know what? It's not bad. I'm actually really digging it. I'm liking it. So basically, this could be this could be my way to escape Pacifica, and you have to repair the plane engine, repair the plane propeller, repair the cockpit, stock food, stock water, and stock fuel. Then you come up here and you throw food in the boxes. You throw water in the boxes. You hippy hop and hammer the propeller, the engine, gas it up. You need to hippy hop. You need to throw in the rudder pedal, and then you need to, well, get involved in the end game. There is a little rubber ducky on the inside, I appreciate that. I was like, oh, hello, what's yellow in the cockpit? Nope, that's a rubber ducky. There would have probably been 2 seats in here, but whatever, that's just history again, peeking up. But yeah, and then you jet off. So that's the end game. If you didn't want to see it, well, don't watch beyond like the past. Go back in the past and tell yourself not to do it. That's good. That is 0.72. In a nutshell, it may be a very short video. I don't know. Oh, I don't really want to leap off there. I was like, can I leap off? And I was like, no, that's very shallow water. You will break both of your ankles. I'm not going to explore the interior of the ship. You know what? You guys can do that. You can do that. It is very obvious that this is what it is when you're in game. So, like I said, start a new game. If you're on 0.72 experimental, or if this update, if the Bigger Worlds update comes out for the main game, start a new game, because there are a load of bugs that you'll have, apart from missing physics objects and broken shadows. It's just worth starting all over again. It's a little bit annoying, but hey, the game is in early access. What can I tell you? What can I tell you? Now, this ship had a number done to it, didn't it? Apart from that, if you do go towards the edge of the world, just be aware that the new world barrier is a little bit glitchy and you can accidentally sail way beyond it. So definitely save regular before going on an ocean voyage, and do expect to see more monsters. I'll tell you what though, I am going to leave it there for the time being. So if you're liking this, definitely leave a little like, leave a subscribe, and if you do subscribe, click the little bell, because that'll give you notifications when videos go live. We're back to our regular programming next episode, and I tell you what, I'll catch you next time.